Hi everyone, this is Eva. I wanted to share a short practice today of just standing poses. I'm hoping that most people who can just be on their feet for a while can do this, and I'm going to give you lots of variations. So if you'd like to join me, go ahead and make your way to your mat. You may not need a mat, but you could use one to make sure you don't slide around. And you might want it for Shavasana after the video. And also you can use a chair. So just finding a comfortable mountain position or standing position, finding a little comfortable width of your feet apart, away from each other. And then letting your shoulders find their neutral stance. So neither rounded forward nor drawn back, but somewhere in between, and a little bend in the knees. So this is just our comfortable, soft mountain pose. Good. Feel your feet as they connect to the earth. Maybe if you'd like, you can close your eyes. And then find your rhythm of your breath. Simply noticing how it feels. When you inhale, what changes in your body, and when you exhale. If you'd like, you can take one hand to the lower belly and one to the chest. And imagine a wave of breath as you expand your belly, then your ribs, and then your chest with the inhale, and then exhaling and reversing chest, ribs, belly. We'll take a few rounds of breath just like that. Just tuning into our breath, tuning into our body, and bringing ourselves into this present moment. Your inhales may be shorter or longer than mine. Your exhales, your whole breathing may be a little different than mine. And then as you're ready, we're going to release that breathing exercise. You can stay with the deeper breaths or just come back to a natural breath. I'm going to start with the feet and work on up. So we're going to do a little bit of a warm up here. I like to feel my soles of my feet by lifting my toes away from the ground and spreading them out. You may or may not feel much different as far as how high up your toes go, but maybe just by doing that you can notice the different parts of your feet that are in touch with the ground, the corners of your feet per se. And then bring the toes down. Go ahead and lift the heels. So we're going to do that little rocking motion, lifting the toes without really lifting the entire foot, but just the toes, and then lifting the heels. Good. A couple more times. Starting to warm up the soles of the feet. For me, this is really helpful because I tend to get really cramping or feet that have a little bit of plantar fasciitis, and this really does help for me. And then let the feet relax there. Bend the knees, bring your hands to your thighs. We're going to circle the knees around so we can get the ankles warmed up. Good, and then reverse that. While we are in this somewhat bent position, good bend in the knees, we can find our cat-cow, inhaling, taking the chest forward. Tailbone kind of reaching back behind us, and then exhaling as we round our shoulders and tuck the tailbone and our chin, but puff out the upper back. So take a few of these, inhaling, expanding the belly, and exhaling, drawing the belly back. Good. Another round of that. Good. Come to neutral spine. Maybe we start to slide the hands down. So you can always stay at about halfway up if you don't like to drop your head low, or you have a condition that says not to take your head below your heart. But if you're okay with going a little further, you can start to slide your hands down toward your shins and maybe let your head hang. Coming into a little bit of a forward fold, but make it really soft. You can let your arms hang if you'd like. You can also bend your elbows, reach for your opposite elbow, and then just sway side to side. Releasing the arms down, we'll come to halfway up again, bend the knees, and slowly come up the rest of the way. back to our mountain pose. So as we continue through the rest of the body, so we're working our way up, we can take the feet a little wider here and then do some hip circles. I like to think of them as really slow hula hoop movements. Can't really keep a hula hoop up like this, but you can imagine. And then reverse. Good. If you want to get fancy, you can take a little bend in the knees and do a little infinity shape, kind of like you might learn in belly dancing. It's kind of fun. And then reverse that. Good. Come back to center. Feet still a little bit wider if that feels comfortable to you. Start to find a little bit of side movement. So let's see, right hand down the thigh. And as we slide toward the right, the left hand can be on the left shoulder. Or if your shoulder is feeling okay, you could let your left arm kind of reach across the body. Either bends, which I really like, or actually stretching out the arm. Check in with your breath. Notice if you've gone too far, which you can discover if you're holding your breath here. Feel that left side of the body expand, and your head can be looking forward or looking down or up. It's your choice. Good. As you're ready, we'll come back up, noticing just how different it can feel just to have that one side. And then we'll make sure that we get the other side as well. So left hand starts to slide down. Again, maybe right hand to the shoulder, elbow up or reaching up and over. Finding the edge and backing off of that edge. Just kind of make it soft here. And take nice deep breaths into that side of the body. Good. Use your inhale to bring yourself back up to center. Good. And then as you bring both hands to your shoulders, you can start to do this alternating twisting movement. Getting a little bit of shoulder and spinal twisting movement, and then reverse that. Good. And then releasing. Shoulders roll around a few times. Good. All right. Now, depending on how your shoulders feel, you can take your right hand to your hip or bring your right hand behind you. Keep that shoulder, oops, opposite side. So keep that shoulder down and back, and then let the left ear kind of drape toward the left shoulder, observing how the neck feels on this side. While we're on the feet, you can still notice if you are balancing right to left, front to back. Maybe take your chin over to that left shoulder. You can even add a little nod. Bring the head back to neutral. Left arm releases, or right arm, and then bring it across the body and give it a nice hug. You can do a little bit of twisting movement if that feels good. We'll go other side, just noticing now how that side felt. So again, opposite side, so left hand on the hip or behind. Some of you can reach way over, but I'm just gonna go about halfway because this is the shoulder I'm still trying to take care of. And then right ear to right shoulder. So your head is moving away from the arm that's behind you. Noticing that side of the neck. If you'd like, take your chin over to that right shoulder. Do a little nod up and down. Good. And then as you're ready, bring the head back to neutral. We'll unwind that left arm and bring it across the body, hugging it in with the right side. And you can either just hang here and notice how it feels, or you can do a little twist side to side. We're just kind of moving up through the entire body as we warm up all the different joints and different muscles. Or I could say loosen the joints a little bit. Good. And then as you release the shoulders, we can take the neck and draw a circle with the nose and get some rotation going through the neck. Being careful not to drop the head back too far. And then reverse. come back to neutral. Good. All right, I'm going to change my camera angle position just a little bit so you can see more of the top of me. All right, we're going to come back to that mountain. So now our feet can go a little wider, toes can turn out, and we're just going to swing here. This is one of my favorite ways to really kind of release tension in the back, is to allow us to twist. And notice that as I'm twisting to the right, my left heel lifts, so we're not kind of tweaking the knee there, and then the other way. And the arms just swing. You can even tap wherever they reach. Good. And then just winding that down till we're back in mountain pose. And so just observe, that was a full warm-up just right there. So if you're done and this is enough for you for today, you can stop right here. It's absolutely fine. From here, we're going to add on for a little more strength, a little more movement and energy. So you're welcome to continue with this. So now we find our mountain pose. Feet are toes are pointing forward. Shoulders are just directly over our hips, and hips are over ankles. I always like to add a soft bend to the knees here. Good. From this position, we can start to add our half sun salutation. So inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, release back down. If you're dealing with any, shoulder limitations, you can do halfway and then halfway down, or skip it all together. So let's take another one. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, float down. This next time we're going to add a forward fold. So inhale as we reach up. Exhale, slight bend in the knees, hinging forward at the hips, finding your forward fold. The head can hang if you'd like, or you can just keep it halfway. And I'm going to demonstrate that sideways. If you're going all the way down, you're just going to let the head hang, let your back around here. Wherever you are, inhale to come up halfway. Again, finding that long spine, crown of the head reaching forward. And notice that there's some work that happens here in our back. Good, and then back down to forward fold. Coming up halfway, we'll sweep those arms out, bend the knees, and come up back into our upward salute. So now from this upward salute, you could lift your chest, maybe lift your gaze at the same time, finding a little back bend, and then hands to heart. Beautiful, half sun salutations. Good. This next one we'll add a bit by starting off in chair pose. So instead of our mountain pose, chair is imagining you're a chair and sending your hips back, bending at the hips and at the knees. The back is relatively neutral, and we'll keep the belly drawn in so that we're using our core to hold this position. So chair pose can be here, like as if you were sitting on a stool. Chair pose can be deeper, and arms reaching either out or up. So your choice. You can choose any variation you want. So let's start with that. All right. So mountain pose, chair pose. Noticing how this pose feels in the body. Good. Beautiful. All right. Hands to heart. Forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, back down to forward fold. Bend the knees, hips reach back. Come up to chair pose. You can come out of this pose, or if you'd like to hold for a bit, we're going to bring hands to heart and then add a twist to the right. Back to center. Twist to the left. Back to center. Arms reach out and up as we come out of our chair pose. Reaching up, maybe lifting the heart and our gaze again to upward salute. Good. Exhale, release. Nice. So it's just kind of a different variation of the sun salutations, half sun salutations. And again, letting your body release by swinging. Some people like the swing, some people like to march, some people like to dance. So you do whatever you like in between. All right, and I'd like to share what I've been doing whenever I get feet that are stiff from plantar fasciitis. It's a little stretch, and it's also a little bit of balance too. So taking a lunge simply means that you step one foot back while the front knee bends. I'm going to show it to you from sideways so you can see how that looks. So you can keep your hands on your hips and you're stepping the right foot back while the left knee bends. If you feel very unstable, like this is, balance pose, you can always take a smaller step and then a wider step. Right foot wider from the left, right? So you can choose either one. If you want to go deep, you can take a deep stretch. So for the heel, I'm going to try to press the heel down and then lift up the heel. And I know you can't see that too well from this particular position of the camera. We're going to press the heel down and then lift it up. A few times, just really stretching that sole of the foot at the same time as we're putting a little bit of weight. So don't do this if you're in pain. Good. Then as you're ready, we'll bring the tailbone down, not under, but neutral down. Feel the thighs engage and the lower belly lift. You might have to bend the back knee to do that and then reach back with your heel. So now we're in our lunge pose. Arms could be out in front or they could reach up as in our lunge pose. Good. So from our lunge pose, elbows can bend as we lift our chest. Finding a bit of a back bend here. Or you could lean forward and reach back as if you were holding a beach ball or a block between your hands. Good. Ready. Inhale forward and up. And then exhaling to bring the hands to the hips and step the back foot forward. Good. Just kind of noticing how it felt to do that one side of the body. Good. Now we'll come to the other side. So whatever foot you didn't do, for me it was the left. Then step that left foot back. Remember to make adjustments, either a shallower step or a wider step or both, if you need it for balance. Also, a wallet can be pretty handy in a chair. And then just to warm things up or to really kind of get activated through the sole of that foot, pressing the heel down and then lifting up on the toe, ball of the feet. Good. All right, then pause. Begin to bend the back knee. Reach your tailbone down so that your spine is more neutral. Feel the abs, the hips, the lower abs engage here, and then reach the heel back. It may limit how far you go, but we're stronger for that. From that, our lunge comes up, maybe. We may, let me switch. We may bend the elbows, lift the chest into a little bit of a back bend. We could lean forward, reach back. All along, our weight is shifting from one foot or towards the front foot. And you kind of have to really pay attention so that you don't lose that balance. And then inhale as you reach up, back into our lunge. Put hands to the hips, step the back foot forward. Nice. Ooh, so this is really a complete practice, I believe. I mean, there's certain poses we're not going to get to when we're standing, but we're still getting all of the movement through the spine and a lot of lower body stuff. Good. I sometimes like to just circle out the ankles a little bit. Again, it's testing our balance and also getting some love down to the ankles. Take the feet wide. We'll move into our Warrior Two series. So feet are wide and parallel to each other. And the width is just anything a little wider than your hips. So you could be here, you could be here. All right, so you pick what you need, and then we're going to take the right toes and turn them to the right, and then bend the right knee. Notice that my hips automatically try to turn to the right, so I'm going to try to bring the hips off to the side while keeping the knee over the ankle. Don't worry about perfection, just try to keep a sense of strength in this pose. Arms reach out, shoulders relax, palms are down. This is our Warrior Two. And you look to the right, turn the right palm up, and reaching up with the right arm, left hand goes to the thigh, You could wrap your left arm around behind you into our reverse warrior. Check in with your breath. Good. Back to warrior two. Bending that right elbow, bring it to the thigh. Left arm can reach up and over. If you want a challenge, you can reach that right arm out in front of you. Use your core to hold yourself up. If you don't want a challenge, elbow comes back to the thigh, or forearm does. Inhale back to warrior two. Straightening that right leg, reach back with the left hip, out with the right arm. Staying, bringing your right hand to your shin or the inside of your thigh. Right arm reaches, or left arm reaches up. Triangle pose. Again, noticing whether you feel better with your head looking forward, up, or down. When you're ready, inhale back up. Relax the arm, turn the toes forward. We're in a wide-legged stance. You can stay here or you can bend your knees, bring your hips, and begin folding down to halfway down, forward fold, or maybe your hands even reach down to your shins, your ankles, or the ground. Taking this and making this a little bit more of a release of the poses we've been doing. You can do a little wiggle, you can do a little slumping, and just enjoy kind of giving into gravity here. When you're ready to come back up, hands come back to the hips, slowly coming back up. And then we'll go other side. So now left toes will turn out to the left. Left knee bends. Keeping that knee kind of drawing out toward the pinky side, but turning the hips kind of away or sideways from that left knee. Again, finding the warrior two arms. Good, shoulders soften down, but slightly back. Look to the left. And then turn your left palm up and reach up with that left hand. Right hand can go to the back of the thigh or the side of the thigh, or even wrap around behind you. Check in with your breath. Check in with your thoughts. Good. Back to warrior two. I used to think that you had to hold this pose the entire way through, but if you really need to, it's always okay to come out and then back into it. Good. Left elbow bends, comes to the thigh. Right arm can reach up and over. Again, if you want to stay here, you can. If you want to challenge, left arm reaches forward. Good. Inhaling back to our warrior two. Good. Straightening that left leg. We can reach the right hip back and the left arm forward, reaching out and either bringing the hand to the shin or the inside of the thigh. Good. Right arm reaches up. Triangle pose here. Some of you can easily reach the ground. I can't. So I'm just going to keep it here. So we'll see what happens when I come to the ground as I start to lose the pose. All right, so for me, it's easier to keep it up a little higher. Good. Inhale, back up. Good. Release the arms, take the feet forward again. And once more, if you're done with this pose, you can just walk the feet in. But if you do like the sense of this wide leg stance, we could come right back down into that forward fold. Either keeping your hands on your hips and halfway, if you're keeping your head above your heart. If you're wanting to come a little deeper, you could walk your hands down and turning it sideways, I'll show you. You could even walk your fingertips way out and reach your hips back into this wide leg downward facing dog. Just kind of observing how this may feel different than another downward dog facing dog variation. Walk your hands back, softening the knees, hands to hips, lengthen the spine, and then slowly come back up. Nice. Heel toe the feet together. Good. Again, taking a little break. You can do a march, wiggle out, your feet, your wrists. You could do your swinging movement. Beautiful. So I know this is a lot of poses, but it's kind of a good sampling of different poses that we do in yoga. These are a good sampling of the standing poses in yoga. Finally, my favorite one is goddess pose. So feet are going out wide and we're pointing the toes diagonally. So when you bend your knees, the direction of your legs is pointing the same direction as your toes. Knees are over ankles. Give a thought to where your tailbone is pointing. You can play with tucking it out and tucking it under a few times and just notice how that feels. For me, it feels better for it to be neutral, pointing kind of down while the lower belly lifts. Adding the arms, cactus arms to goddess pose. Beautiful. Again, when you need a break, come on up. And then if you want to come back, we're coming back into it. So you can stay here, you can start to lift one heel and then the other. You could try lifting the toes, maybe straightening out the right leg. And then shifting as you lift the left toes and straighten that. So it's a little shift. Kind of checking in. And then maybe even both heels rise up. A little bit of pressing into the big toes, using your glutes here. Maybe the arms reach up into sun god. I know my legs are shaking, my ankles are shaking here. Good. Heels come back down, arms release, straighten the legs. Good. And we'll heel toe the feet back in. Ah, almost lost my balance. Speaking of balance, I kind of forgot about that. We'll do a quick little demonstration. So just like we did with our lunge earlier, I meant to put that in there. Step back with the right foot, bending that left knee. So lunge pose. And we're going to transition from that to a crane pose. So let me show you real quick. Sorry about that. All right. Right foot taps, lift up the knee. Step back lunge. And if you got to take it in little steps, it's okay. Down and back. So let's do that again. So we're back in mountain. Good. Right foot back. Lunge pose. Hands to hips, right foot taps, and then knee lifts. Hold if you can. Find your focal point. When you can, either tap or step it back again. Good. Come back to center. Nice. All right, other side. So left foot steps back, right knee bends. Tap the foot, lift the knee. Tap it back down. To make it a little bit more involved, knee lifts, and then you go straight back to a step back. Last one. Mountain pose. Step back to lunge, maybe reaching up. And then bring the knee up. So I've got to do the tap on this side. Lift the knee, maybe arms up, maybe not. And then reach back into our lunge. Nice job. Whew, I'm saying that to myself because I don't really know what you're doing. Good. When you're ready, step it forward. Good. Again, any release that you like. I even like kind of just taking my hands behind and letting the shoulders roll down and back. Lift my chest. And then the opposite of that. Bending the knees and rounding down to a forward fold. Let the head hang here. And back up to center. Back to our mountain pose. And then just noticing your entire body. everything we've worked today and letting your body give you the cues as to what it needs right now. So, whether it's the wrist, whether it's the head, the ankles, or even our hips. So kind of just giving in to whatever your body's asking, not giving in, but giving yourself permission to listen to what your body's asking for. And we'll end the practice just as we did at the beginning, starting in our mountain pose. This time, maybe bringing our hands together in front of our hearts, keeping our eyes closed or casting our gaze downward. Imagining that there's a healing energy that comes up from the earth. It's not just healing, but it's stabilizing, because it's gravity that's keeping us connected to the earth. And then there's a healing energy that comes from above. That's more of an uplifting energy. And you can imagine the rooting down through the feet and the lifting through the rest of the body happening at the same time, because it is. And you can imagine now that as you come to a natural breath, each inhale is gathering the uplifting energy we need. Each exhale is releasing the tension we don't need. Pausing here to take a few rounds of breath. And as you're ready to release, you can release your hands down, open your eyes, take a deep breath in, exhale with a big sigh. Maybe this next inhale, we bring our arms up, our palms up to acknowledge everything that's good and bring it together in front of our heart with an inhale and an exhale to soften the shoulders. I want to thank you so much for joining me in this video if you've practiced with me. If you'd like a Shavasana now, you're welcome to make your way down to your mat or have a seat in your chair.